All right, you've guessed it. We're back with another bingo topics. We're going to look at a myriad of topics here, looking at power rankings, gaining insight on different things, looking at injuries, some assessments, and signings as well. What's up? It's your boy Centron coming back at you with another analysis video. And I kid you not, that's my real name. And first, some insight I gained into a little bit of favoritism, to be expected, because there's a new median darling with the Eagles and the top ranked team here in the Week 7 rankings. So San Francisco 49ers being ranked here at the top, and I get it. It was a topsy-turvy week where both undefeated teams lost, as well as there were some other losses suffered by other teams. Some teams gained ground, but I really don't get them not taking any movement here. I get the other teams, maybe they didn't do enough to elevate them, but the excuses being given for the 49ers, there are big injuries to Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, and Trent Williams. Hey, it happens. Not our fault, not anybody's fault that you're top heavy. That's your team. Their kicker being given a mulligan here. I mean, yeah, he's a rookie, but who cares? You drafted him with a 3rd round pick. Have high expectations of him, obviously, and he should go out there and win you that game. And then Brock Purdy, his struggles. People say not to gloss over him, but ain't no but. Everything you say after but is negated, nullified. So how good Cleveland's defense is, but they're not going to go out and harp on how good this Jets defense is we faced. They're missing their top 4 corners, and they're able to, patchwork that thing and hold up in the back end coverage. Yeah, those guys on the practice squad, you're just still seeing some sort of reps, but let's not, negate what they've done to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and, they kind of challenge. I mean, Dak Prescott, he didn't have the best pass rating against him, the best that he's had this season. But the game plan took it out, took him out of it more so than anything else. But yeah, man, they're a really good defense, one of the best. Easily top 5, if not top 3. But yeah, they're not giving the same excuses, here. Yes, we had self-inflicted wounds. But yeah, they're not. The only interception I would ding him for is the horrible one he threw, the 3rd one. The other ones, protection, but I would put more on the coaching game plan. But they really didn't hold back here, and we're really seeing what they think of the Eagles this whole time. I get it. But we'll see. I don't know who the 49ers' next opponent is, but we have a big test coming up with the Dolphins coming to town, and there's not going to be any room for errors, mistakes. All right, so here's something that I gleaned that could be a little bit of insight. We'll get into the deeper part of it later, but we obviously we signed this guy. We'll get to that later, but we cut this guy when we're in need of defensive bodies in the defensive backfield. So many guys are on injury reserve, suffered injuries this past week, and then their prognosis could be week to week or longer. And we cut one of the healthy guys that we do have. So I think this definitely points to signs of a trade impending, and we know how he's going to pull the trigger. In other positions, he already did today with this, the surprising one. But I think this is a sign of things to come. All right, and I don't think he's fraudulent. I'm just saying, I wasn't bagging on him. I do think it's the system. He makes really good decisions, but it is a system. But what I really want to turn my attention to is the Eagles should be concerned. And this is, again, harping on, the Eagles. They want to, compare us to the Minnesota Vikings. We are not the Minnesota Vikings. Okay? They didn't have anybody on defense. Just that alone should shut down that argument. But yeah, we suffered our first loss. And there are some concerns that I don't think we should be concerned. There's a difference between the two. Being concerned, it's like, there's, things are in disarray. There are some spots that we should be concerned. So it's one of those self-aggrandizing, pat yourself on the back titles, that, okay, you got him in, you reeled him in, you caught the viewers' attention. Okay, you caught my attention. Cool. But yeah, they said they're harping on that, and yeah, included in mind-numbing pick. Yeah, it was. But the other two, even though it seemed to ramp up, they got worse and worse. Like they said, I would blame the game plan more on the second one. Him holding the ball longer than he should have to make a play that just wasn't there. You take checkdowns. When Lane is in there, you can hang in there. He trusted Driscoll too much, and then as the game went on, he trusted Driscoll less and less. So where he, and it caused him to doubt other positions, other pieces, and affect his overall play and trust in that line. So, yeah, I would have done that though. So that was like a head scratcher. Yeah. So I put that on the head coach, and I would that's exactly what I would have done. Force Zach Wilson to beat me, and I mean that the coaching, we'll see how they bounce back from this loss with the Dolphins coming to town, and time management, clock management might come at a premium. Keeping them lessening their possessions has got to be a goal going into this week. But I'm not concerned about like the ability of the play calling. It's just about them doing it. I mean, Brian Johnson has shown in spots he can do it, so why can't he do it overall? It's just an experience thing. I'm not concerned about that. I'm not concerned about the coaching ability. I'm concerned about the coaching ego. Them doing the right thing, putting us in the right positions. 50 plus passing attempts is not where you want to be, what you want to see as an Eagles fan. Our bread and butter should be the run game, and the passing game should be a luxurious accentuation to that, but a second option that we go to nonetheless. So I'm not concerned. I'm like, it's like I see some things that are concerning, but it's not things that are perilous to our season. Like as far as like we're in control of those elements. Now the injuries you can't control, but even then, we were down. We only had one starting guy in our secondary, and confidence was still high in the defense. And that's not saying long term, going forward, with that prognosis, we should be okay. But that showed me a lot. All right, some good news on the injury front here. Lane Johnson believed to have, only suffered a grade 1 ankle sprain, so he could be back for week 7. Here's my thing though. If he's at risk of serious re-injury or even mid-grade, I'd hold him out of this game. I feel confident enough with them having a week of game planning, and them coaching up, playing in sync, and the chemistry amongst those guys on that line, and Jack Driscoll going out there and being able to protect. And if he can't hold up, because he's not Lane, don't pretend that he is. Give him help. 12, 13 personnel. 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends. Give him some assistance out there, and game plan accordingly. Don't get wide-eyed because you see Eli Apples out there on the corner. He's playing atrociously, and you're thinking that, we should try to take advantage of that matchup. At times, yes, but don't let that sacrifice your overall game plan of running the football. Lean into our strengths and don't shy away from them, which is just foolish. But yeah, if he's in danger of being compromised long term, you shove him for a couple weeks, and it might hurt. But my goal right now would be to have him ready for the Dallas game. Michael Parsons, for me, absolutely. I feel like we need him, and not that we don't against the other teams, but if it's between his long-term health and short-term gain, if we win but we lose him long-term, that doesn't help us in the end. So, sacrifice the short-term for the long-term. All right, Bradley Roby has a pec injury. We know it was believed to be a shoulder injury, but now it's believed to be a pec strain. But he won't go on IR. But that does mean that one familiar name is back in Philly, Josiah Scott. So We signed him off the Pittsburgh Steelers practice squad. And I think he's been dealing with his own injuries this season as well. So it's the one signing that you inspires no confidence. You're like, what the are we doing? What in the hell, man? It's just confusing. I mean, no, it's not confusing. It just shows you like the level of desperation we're going to. We're signing up for another helping of Josiah Scott. Things are that bad. It's believed that Reed Blankenship can, maybe able to come back in the short term. He might be week to week. Maybe this week, we'll see. With his injury, Darius Slay, we'll have to see where he's at. Ricks, I think he might be out long term because the way his knee bent didn't look good. But Josiah Scott also has that safety versatility, so that's also something that maybe factors into the equation. But we're down bad, man. We're down bad in the secondary, and cutting Mario Goodrich, like this shit said, that just shows a lot if we're willing to go with Josiah over him. Does he look worse than Josiah? I mean, maybe that's the case, but damn, we don't have too many healthy guys out there. So I really think, like I said, this points to us making a move at safety. Could it be the Denver safety, Justin Simmons, Cardinal safety, Budda Baker? Both those would be pricey, but they would be splash moves because, Sidney Brown, he's also coming off an injury. He's not healthy. Can he play this week? We don't know. So that hammy's giving him problems. Where does he, where do we put him? Is he start at safety? Does he send Terrell Edmonds to the bench? Or does Edmonds continue to start because Justin Evans is on injury reserve? So, man, we had like I said, the track team coming to town, and we need to figure some shit out. Who's going to be out there? How long are the people that are out going to be out? When can they come back? How does that affect, the roster space, moves? And because those guys are not on injury reserve, but they're still taking up space on the roster, so we can't make moves in lieu of them being active. We're gonna have to figure some stuff out, man. Like I said, this guy's back, and there are some other guys. Tyre Phillips, guy we signed from the Giants practice squad. He went back to their roster because they're hurting at offensive line. Lou Nichols, a 7th round 2023 pick. I don't really know, but about the same size as Rashad Penny. But I'm like, let's just use. What is going on with Rashad Penny? I would love to know. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and figure out what the hell is going on. He's not going to talk about it, obviously, but it's strange. And released Bryant Koback. I think he was like maybe a D3 guy. But Julio Jones has been signed to the practice squad. Let's talk about him. Julio Jones, this is a surprise signing. If you saw this coming, you won the huge Vegas bet of the week because nobody in the right mind had them going out and signing this guy. A couple seasons ago, I thought we would get him. I think maybe last season. I think we were contemplating it, but that was last season. And he's a year older. He's 34. No longer the game-breaking wide receiver that he was with the Falcons. He last played, I think, with the Bucks in 2022. But what does he bring to the table at this point? Not only the 4.3, game-breaking speed that he had coming into the league, he's still 6'3", still 220 plus, most likely. And, he's probably going to play in the slot for us. Let's not lie. It gives us great depth in the event that, A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith gets injured. That's a great replacement. I'd love to have him on tap. But in the immediate, what does he bring? Only thing I can think of is red zone targets. It's the easy way for us maybe to get better there. You have to, pay credence to him there. And then, if he offers anything on the table in the, regular offense outside of the, in between the 20s, maybe he takes away a little bit of coverage from Devonta and AJ. But I really love to see, what he brings to the table at this point. In his, 12th, 13th, year season. But yeah, it was a bit of a mystifying signing. We have people are thinking hey, we're gonna sign someone in the secondary. We go out and sign this guy. We're like, what? Who? What? So not AJ. Sorry, Julio Jones. It just came off as a bit shocking. bit jarring to the senses because that was not a need that we thought we had. And it's like, why now? Like I said, the only thing I can think is for red zone. But, you know, we felt comfortable going into the season with only, you know, basically Devonta and AJ, you know, with Quez. I mean, and I think that maybe could factor into, you know, the equation. But when Quez comes back, or he's eligible to come back, what do we do then? I mean, that's the big question for me. How do we, you know, balance that? You know, is he just going to be inactive? I mean, we're going to have to cut some people as well. So, I mean, like all these numbers, you know, we're going to create a surplus at certain positions, and we're going to have to cut guys going along the way. And then we don't know what injuries we might be dealing with at that time, you know. So it's just a big jigsaw puzzle piece of, you know, plug and play and then discard when the time, you know, comes. Because, I mean, Julio Jones on the practice squad, I mean, maybe we could move him back down and just have him there, you know, ready at the ready. I don't think you know, he's not a threat for, you know, to be signed away, but where do we go with that? I do not know, but if he can bring anything to this offense, I mean, just based on his pedigree, his experience, all those things, we'll see how good he is at running routes. You know, does he still have, you know, a level of that speed, maybe a 4.4 area-ish? So, I mean, I'll take it. You know, it was a welcome surprise, and I wasn't like, oh man, we signed this bum. No, I'm happy that we have him, and I'm glad that it provides more depth and potentially, if he gets up to speed and then gets some level of comfortability. So that's the big thing with me with Hurts. He could be a threat, I would say, in certain uncertain down and distances, and taking away coverage would be a big thing for me. And as well as giving experience to that receiver room. He's already the elder statesman with under him being A.J. Brown, who has 5 seasons of experience, but he's only 26 years old. But really being a threat to score touchdowns in the red zone or just, you know, a decoy. So we'll see. But anyways, we'll stop there today, man. A lot of different topics, a lot of stuff going on. But thanks for watching. But I know that you're not even here, though. You're not even watching. It's all good because I love talking about the Eagles and love making these videos. So we're going to get out of here. Like I said, chunk deuces. But as always, it's fly, Eagles, fly. And let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Centron Anime, Centron Life, or Centron Laughs, or other social media.